News are coming in on the Supreme Court hearing on Shaheen Bagh, and today no interim orders have been given by the Supreme Court. They've said that the next hearing will take place on the 23rd, but the judges did speak about the violence that has taken place in Delhi. There was also a petition before them, an application to probe the Delhi riots, but the Supreme Court judges saying at the outset that while incidents of violence in Delhi are unfortunate, the court will not expand the scope of the case before it, which pertains to specifically to blocking of the road on account of the Shaheen Bagh protest. The Justice Kaul, who is one of the justices who's hearing this case, says that the incidents that happened in Delhi are unfortunate. There was also some interaction between the Solicitor General Tushar Mehta regarding what the Supreme Court judges were observing about the situation in Delhi. The Solicitor General requesting the court not to use words lest it legitimize the violent incident. So that is something that also took place, and for the moment, the key part is that there are no interim orders. The next hearing will take place on the 23rd. Remember, the Supreme Court has appointed interlocutors. Advocate Sanjay Hegde is one of the interlocutors who have been appointed in this case. They had submitted their report a few days ago, 2 days ago, on after speaking to the protesters at Shaheen Bagh. So far, it did seem that no solution had been found. The SG asking that the protesters find an alternate road and sit there. Now, Justice Joseph, however, when speaking about the problems in Delhi, the violence that has taken place, Justice K.M. Joseph said problem is lack of independence. If strictly law is implemented, these things wouldn't have happened. The Solicitor General said policemen died and don't demoralize the police, to which the Justice replied, see how the police acts in England. It doesn't wait for orders. So observations by the justices on the violence that has taken place in Delhi. In fact, before them, at that point, it was the number of people who died was 13. And Solicitor General Justice Joseph said, we're not saying anything political. Don't misunderstand. This is after the SG said not to requested that they, the word that they're using, lest it legitimize violent incidents. However, the Justice Kaul said all over the country, the SC verdict on police reforms has not been implemented. So raising this very controversial issue of the police reforms that have been ordered by the Supreme Court yet not implemented in any of the states. The SG said a DCP is on the ventilator. He was lynched. Let us not discuss. To which the Justice replied, if people are dealt with, remember 13 lives being lost is a serious thing, and we now know that it's gone. It's more than 13. In fact, 20 people have been killed in that violence. So let's go across to Sunil Prabhu for more and to really find out what happened in the court. So Sunil, no interim orders. The next hearing is on the 23rd, but the justice had a lot to say about the Delhi violence.
That's right. I was there in the court, and I think both Justice Kaul as well as Justice K.M. Joseph came hard on what is happening. They said, and they cited the England case in the UK, and surprisingly we saw the Solicitor General, who's usually combative, extremely defensive, saying and requesting that the media should not even report this. And Justice Kaul made it clear that whatever we are reporting, these are only observations. What's our written order is what the court has actually said. But nevertheless, just to give you a brief about what they said, that while they said they were not inclined to entertain and don't want to extend the scope, really said it's a matter of concern that 13 people have lost their lives. Then, of course, the lawyers in the courtroom said it's now gone from 13 to 18 and explained to him very categorically that the situation has gone in a terrible way. This prompted no less than Justice Joseph to say there's a lack of professionalism in our police. There's a lack of directions that have been given. Very, very hard words, saying that no state government wants to implement the Prakash Singh and everybody, the Prakash Singh judgment. And even the interlocutor stood up and said, I was the advocate for Karnataka, and even then I could not get in. There was a little bit of a to and fro in terms of the Solicitor General and Justice Joseph about what exactly should be the way forward in terms of the loyalty, and Mr. Joseph making it clear, the Justice Joseph, that his loyalty is to the institution, to the Supreme Court. As Mr. Tushar Mehta countered, the Solicitor General, that his loyalty is to the profession, and of course making a very, very strong case that this could have been stopped if the police had been given directions right from day one.